Hello guys, welcome to Backup Wing! And today on the first episode of Backup Wing, actually second episode, but the first episode I'm doing on the channel, we'll be reviewing Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Yeah, I didn't do the first movie, but I will do the second movie. And I'll see what I liked about, what I didn't, and what was my theater experience in the film. Okay, so if you haven't seen the movie, do not watch it. This video will have spoilers! Spoilers for the film and my theater experience during the film. And I will give my review to what I thought. So let's kind of start it off. So this movie starts off with a young Cleese Cassie, and his girlfriend is being shipped off. So, yeah, and he's obviously super heartbroken about this. So, yeah, so she is kind of the black siren of this film, which is this cool power, and but the guy shoots her. So, yeah, so she gets taken off to this institution. Then we flash to present day where we see that Cleese Cassie is being sentenced to, death row. So, yeah, so they send our boy Eddie Brock to investigate it. And, Venom is also there too. Venom starts saying about how they're lethal protectors. I think that's a nod to the comics. Lethal Protector, because Venom is a lethal protector in the comics. So, kind of cool reference to the comics. So, yeah, so Venom, tries to, tell Eddie that, hey, this guy's dangerous, but obviously Eddie doesn't want to believe Venom. So, oh, yeah. Sorry, my tooth hurts. But, yeah, my tooth is hurting. So, my hurt for this review. But anyway, yeah. But I'm getting effects Wednesday. So, yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah. Sorry for saying yeah 2 times. But, yeah. So A goes to talk to Cleese Cassie. And, yeah. So then we see, that he tries to, we see his girl Frances again, and she tries to use her powers to, break out of the prison that she's in, but obviously, yeah. So Venom tries to, help A, write, things down and figure out what, so Cleese Cassie sends a note. Cool animation here about how Cleese Cassie killed his aunt and killed his mom and was beaten by his dad. So yeah, cool animations they had in the movie. But yeah, so Eddie goes through. Cleese Cassie bites Eddie, taking some of Eddie's blood, but that blood turns into a symbiote of its own, which infects Cleese Cassie, turning him into Carnage. Yeah, and also A's ex-girlfriend is she's proposed. She is now engaged. And obviously A tries to pretend like he's okay with this, but we all know that Venom is not okay with it. And yeah. So A turns into Carnage, wrecks everyone in his prison, and destroys even the guard. So he escapes, and Venom, A and Venom get into a fight. Venom detaches from A and goes on to A's landlord or someone, and then destroys A's bike, and then goes off to someone else. And yeah, so while this is happening, I just don't like Carnage. Me and my brother Chan, watched this film just didn't like Carnage. I just didn't like Carnage's voice. He didn't like Carnage's voice. I like Carnage's voice better than the animated series than this. It just didn't sound that right. Nothing against the guy who did the voice. It just didn't sound right. So they break his girlfriend out of jail, kill the person that kidnapped her, and and then they're like, hey, she gets revenge on the cop that took her eye. He gets revenge on Brock, and Carnage gets revenge on Venom, making them invincible. So for some reason, Venom decides to have a party. Which is really not that good. Like Venom's rave scene was not needed in this film. Like, it was not needed. But they put it in anyway, even though it's not. This movie is called Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and what I'm talking about shows that this movie did not care about Carnage because it's called Venom, Let There Be Carnage. But so far, when I watched, like I finished it, but it just didn't feel like they cared about Carnage because, so Venom decides to get help from Mrs. Chen, takes out her body when A gets arrested. And her boyfriend and her fiance decide to confront Venom, and they're like, "Hey, Venom, apologize to Eddie." They apologize. Yeah, actually, first she turns into She-Venom again from the first film, and they apologize. I just found this bit really, really unneeded. Like they could apologize another way. It took so long for them to apologize to each other. It was just unneeded. And yeah, so as Cletus Kasady and his girlfriend are about to be married, Venom breaks the party, but he's like, "Wait a minute, that is a red one." And he's like, "Hey, if you help me out, I'll let you eat like people." And he's like, "Oh," like they take out the "oh yeah" part, and that was in the trailer because it was in a previous scene. I'll just say, "Oh yeah," yeah. But yeah. So they reveal that Shriek kidnapped Anne and her boyfriend Dan. Yeah, so they kidnapped them, and so they kidnap them. She uses her Shriek powers she goes after the cop that attacked her, and they go after the Shriek. They go after his attacked her. She attacks his eye, and So then, as for some reason, while I was in the movie theater, as Cletus Kasady is talking, the movie just mutes him for some reason in the movie theater that I was watching at. I do not get this. They just mute him, so we have no idea what he's saying. And then they continue fighting, and then the next scene, they meet him again, but then when they meet him again, all we hear is him saying, but then Venom's crap him, and it's just he actually says something I can't say on YouTube, but it's just so weird that the movies there are that wrapped up, and the guy the detective that shot out Shriek's eye, he awakens with two blue eyes, and he says, "monsters," so then we see, and then they're like, "Hey, Eddie," and they're like, "Hey, Eddie and Dan and Ann, please take care, please take care of her," and then Venom's like, "Hey, you do good," but that guy wasn't really needed anyway, so then we see them on a beach, hanging out, and they're and then Venom says something from Mulan about Mushu, and then Eddie's like, "Hey, that means you really liked him," and then we see a post-credit scene where we see Eddie just hanging out in a hotel room when it just switches to a Aloha setting. Then we see J. Jonah Jameson talking about Peter Parker, and then Venom's like, and licks the TV, and that's how the movie ends. So I feel like this movie was an okay. I thought this movie was an okay film, but I just didn't like the whole wedding thing between carnage and between Clay's Cassidy and his girlfriend Beatrice just did not need to happen. Like in the last film, we had Riot versus Venom, and then they blew him up. But in this movie, he just eats carnage. Like, what's the point of it? Like, nothing against the director Andy Serkis, but what was the point of all this? And the rave scene did not need to happen. Carnage marrying his girlfriend, but then not liking Shriek did not need to matter. Like I thought they were gonna have like a Eddie and Venom kind of bond where they like each other, but no, they just have a fighting thing, and then Venom just eats Carnage. That made no sense. I'm sorry. Also, I'm sorry if you guys just like this movie. I did, but I just did not matter. But the final ending just didn't matter. The final ending to Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, just didn't matter. And Carnage wasn't even the main focus of this movie. The main focus was Venom and Eddie. Then why do you call it Let There Be Carnage if the Carnage part in the title isn't the main focus of your film? That's like confusing your audience. That is confusing your audience. If your movie is called Let There Be Carnage and it's not focused on Carnage, like creating a Carnage tornado, that was just for silliness. It didn't need to happen. That scene just didn't need to happen. He can't even do that. Like, Carnage cannot, like, create a Carnage tornado. He cannot do that. That is just you guys trying to create something funny that wasn't really funny. Okay, so that was Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. It just was a fine film. It wasn't okay. It was a meh film. It wasn't okay. I think the first film was way better in, like, story. Carnage was a way better villain than Riot, but I just did not get, like my movie theater had no audio in those two scenes. It made no sense. But I'll see you next time for another video. But yeah, I'll see you next time for another video.